Why everyone wants Jerusalem. It's so good to be back here for our weekly chat about the Bible, history, archaeology, theology, and of course, Jerusalem. I came to this high place here in Jerusalem where you can see that golden dome in the background, which is the city's postcard image. And in today's video, I decided to tell you a bit about the history of Jerusalem. Actually today, on the day I'm recording this video, we just got news here in Israel that the authorities managed to arrest some highly sought-after and dangerous terrorist leaders, and this made headlines in every newspaper across the country. Now, why does everyone want Jerusalem? I remember watching a movie once called The Kingdom of Heaven, where the screenwriter put in the mouth of Saladin, one of the conquerors of Jerusalem, the phrase, "Jerusalem is nothing, but it is everything. Jerusalem belongs to no one, but it belongs to everyone. Everyone wants Jerusalem." And indeed, why is this city so coveted by Jews, Muslims, Christians, people of all nationalities and throughout every era? Everyone has always wanted Jerusalem. How did the history of this city begin? Well, if I look at the Holy Bible and mix it with archaeology, we have evidence of human occupation in Jerusalem dating back to the Bronze Age. I'm talking about around 2000 to 1800 BC. According to the Holy Bible, the city at that time was called Salem or Shalem. One of its kings was a monarch named Melchizedek. We don't have much information about Melchizedek, but we know enough. He was a worshiper of the living God. He called God El Shaddai, and Abraham, the father of the Jewish nation, recognized Melchizedek as a priest of the Most High God and gave him a tithe. Melchizedek, in turn, blessed Abraham. Over time, Jerusalem was taken by the Jebusites. We don't have much historical information about who the Jebusites were or their ethnicity. Some think they were of Semitic origin, others think differently. But what we do know is that they took over the city around 1500 BC. By then, the city already had strong fortifications, good water systems, and even a dry tunnel that allowed access to water from inside the city. At that point, the city went from being called Salem to being called Jebus after the Jebusites. Interestingly, there's archaeological and historical evidence that even then it may have also been called Jerusalem. Then we get to the 10th century BC, the time of King David. David conquered the Jebusite fortress, which became the Fortress of David. That was when Jerusalem first became the capital of the people of Israel. This was in the 10th century BC. After that, Jerusalem was besieged and conquered several times. The Assyrians came in the 8th century BC and surrounded the city, but they didn't destroy it. However, in 587 or 586 BC, the Babylonians under King Nebuchadnezzar destroyed Jerusalem, destroyed the temple, and took many Jews into captivity, a catastrophe for the city. When the Jews returned from exile during the Persian period, they began to rebuild the city. Figures like Ezra, Nehemiah, and Zerubbabel emerged. Nehemiah helped rebuild the walls, and Zerubbabel began reconstructing the temple. Then came the Greek period, particularly the descendants of Alexander the Great's generals. One of the most notorious Greek leaders, Antiochus Epiphanes, came to destroy the city again. He defiled the recently rebuilt temple by sacrificing a pig on the altar, a grave insult to Jewish customs and religion. This all happened in the 3rd and 2nd centuries BC, right where that golden dome is today. Not the same building, of course, but the same location. Next came the Maccabean Revolt and the Hasmonean period. John Hyrcanus achieved a period of independence for Jerusalem and the people of Judah. However, political infighting between kings and priests plagued the period. Then came the Romans. Around 63 BC, Pompey conquered Jerusalem, defeating the Hasmoneans. He was aided by Herod, who was half Jew, half Idumean. Herod aligned himself with the Romans and was eventually made king of Judea and Jerusalem. He ruled from around 37 BC to 4 BC. Though Herod was cruel and manipulative, he was also a skilled builder. He renovated the Jewish temple to rival the grand architecture of Greece and Rome. He built a vast esplanade around the temple, what we now call the Temple Mount, by constructing massive retaining walls. Inside that esplanade was Mount Moriah, where Abraham had offered Isaac. In 70 AD, the Romans returned and destroyed the Second Temple, fulfilling Jesus' prophecy that not one stone will be left upon another. From 132 to 135 AD, the Jewish revolutionary Bar Kokhba tried to regain Jerusalem's independence. Some believed he was the Messiah, including the famous Rabbi Akiva. But the Romans crushed the revolt. Emperor Hadrian expelled the Jews, brought in foreigners, and renamed the city Aelia Capitolina. He even renamed the entire region Philistina, or Palestine, to erase its Jewish identity. Later came the Persians in the 3rd century AD, and then the Muslims in the 7th century. Under Caliph Omar, Jerusalem became the 3rd holiest city in Islam. Though Muhammad never visited Jerusalem, a Muslim tradition holds that he was miraculously transported there by the angel Gabriel. From the Temple Mount, Mount Moriah, he is said to have ascended to heaven after encountering Moses, Jesus, and Abraham. That tradition led to the construction of the Dome of the Rock in 692 AD, marking the spot where Muhammad allegedly ascended. Many mistakenly call it the Mosque of Omar, but it is neither a mosque nor related to Omar. From then on, Jerusalem saw a series of invasions. Crusaders, Mamluks, and eventually the Ottomans, who took over in 1517 and ruled until 1917. In 1917, during World War I, the Ottoman Empire fell. The Middle East became a no-man's land. Britain, though a small island, had global influence and began carving up the region. Modern Middle Eastern countries were designed at European negotiation tables. The Holocaust had just taken the lives of 6 million Jews, and there was a Zionist movement already calling for a return to the land of Israel. The United Nations, then the League of Nations, was discussing how to divide the region. Arab countries opposed the creation of a Jewish state. It was a Brazilian diplomat, Oswaldo Aranha, who negotiated the creation of the State of Israel. In 1948, Israel was declared a state, on paper. But Jews had to fight to reclaim their land. Initially, Jordan controlled all of this area. Only in 1967, after the Six-Day War, did the Jews regain Jerusalem. Even today, the status of the city remains contested. Who owns what to do with the Palestinians, the Arabs, and other groups, because everyone wants Jerusalem. I gave you just a summary, so you can get a glimpse of how rich Jerusalem's history is, and also how beautiful, because it was here that the most important chapter in human history took place. It was here that Jesus of Nazareth lived, preached, died for our sins, and rose again for the glory of God the Father. I hope you enjoyed this very brief summary. Maybe it sparked your curiosity to research more about the amazing history of Jerusalem. A big hug, and see you in our next video. Bye-bye.